is just a short video for a clinical experience class journal for week 3, discussing my thoughts on process evaluation and maybe a little bit about how I'm thinking of implementing process evaluation in my practice. So just to begin and give a little background, I actually didn't really know much about process evaluation. I obviously knew the definition of the term, but as you would expect, me being new to being an independent practitioner, certified and everything, I haven't really had a chance to learn a lot about this or implement it in any way. I did see a little bit of process evaluation implemented in undergrad when they were getting accredited. I think my junior year the program was, and they used almost like surveys for the students to evaluate how the education system was within the program, just to look into some improvements in some of the outcomes that they saw. So, but that wasn't geared towards the practice itself, I don't think. It was just specifically towards the education. So this is definitely something that I'm interested in learning a lot more about, on how to go about implementing process evaluation on a deeper level. I've thought about it after the synchronous session on Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. Feels like a long week. I thought about how I would want to see this implemented within my own practice. I definitely think there's a need. Me being at a secondary school, and not just a secondary school, but a secondary Christian private school, super tiny, no athletic training room, not even a closet to myself. I'm kind of everywhere. Everywhere because the high school is one building, but they do most of their sports in a community center that's not necessarily affiliated with the high school. And since I don't have an athletic training room, I'm kind of like running around like a chicken with its head cut off half the time. People are always trying to find me, and I always have like 5 or 6 people trying to get evaluated at one time, when, it would be a lot easier if I had a room or a designated spot that I could call mine, that gives privacy to the patient, that I could have hours designated for the room or the area, and that those patients know to come to me at those times for evaluations, obviously, unless something happens later on where they need to be evaluated right then. But I've been trying to figure out a way of kind of I forget the word I'm looking for. Just a way to figure out how to kind of push to get my own spot somewhere in this building, and I haven't really found a good way. I'm a little new at this whole process and advocating for myself, but I kind of thought that this process evaluation could be one way to do it, evaluating how effective my evaluations are and my initial treatments. I think that would be a really good way, because I know that sometimes I'm able to put 15, 20, 25 minutes into one patient, and then sometimes because they couldn't find me during the day, or I don't have a designated spot, so they search for me later. Like the patients I see sometimes at 4 o'clock get like 5 minutes of my time, and not because I'm not willing to give them more, but because there's like 7 or 8 of them that need my attention at one time before I leave to go to a practice or a game. So I'm thinking that somehow evaluating how effective those times with those patients are, how much information they are getting and that they are understanding from the evaluation based on their injury. They understand the process that they might need to go through for treatments, rehabs, referrals, and then taking that, and that could be evaluating myself as well. But if there's a common trend where my 2:30 patients that happen to come in at 2:30 getting a lot more time and they're understanding things, better than the patients that couldn't find me because I don't have a designated spot and I'm everywhere at 4 o'clock or 4:30, and there's a trend where they're not getting as much information, they're not retaining it. And that could reflect on me, but that could also maybe reflect on the fact that there's no spot for me to be where I can give these people the time that they deserve, these patients the time they deserve. So I don't know if that's just like off the wall and it doesn't work, like, Dr. Powell, you can tell me. It would be, if it's a way to do it, I would like to learn more about maybe how to measure this process evaluation, but maybe really how to start implementing it a little bit more, and how I can use the data to advocate for myself for a spot, show the people that I need to show that this is kind of necessary in order for what their athletes, the patients that I'm seeing, deserve. They deserve better. And maybe it's because I'm not being given the resources that I necessarily need to make it better for them. I don't know. It's just a thought. But like I said, if it's just not a good enough idea, or I need to think a little deeper, then I'll think a little deeper. But anyways, I'm excited to learn more about process evaluation and how it will affect quality improvement within my own setting. Thank you.